You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, we're going to learn more about how a local pizzeria teamed up with an area nonprofit to help out senior citizens.
Also, a 70-year-old guard is safe after inmates took the guard hostage.
And we are continuing to deal with our alert days across the area because we still have the dangerous heat and excessive heat warnings. We're going to talk about that in your forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. now on this Wednesday morning, and boy, it has been hot all week. I feel, honestly, we could just copy and paste the weather forecast for the next few days.
It's been brutal, and it's just no relief until this weekend, right?
This weekend is looking fantastic, but I mentioned this, I think, yesterday. That's what I'm saying. It's going to be the longest week to get from here to there, but there is relief on the way, and that is some great news.
Absolutely. And you know who should be looking out for this? Children and senior citizens.
Absolutely.
Got to stay cool in these temperatures. And, you know, just right here in Joplin, we have growing support to help senior citizens, and they're providing things ranging from food to fans in the heat.
And to help those residents, a Joplin pizzeria and nonprofit joined forces yesterday. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has those details.
The third annual Slice for Seniors took place at Gasano's in Joplin. The Area Agency on Aging partnered with the local pizzeria to raise funds for the Meals on Wheels program.
We deliver about 250,000 meals to older adults who cannot, for whatever reason, either access nutrition regularly or are geographically isolated, you know, if they live out in the county, or just can't drive or stand long enough to prepare a meal.
From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., 20% of all sales go to Meals on Wheels, funding better meals and other needs for senior citizens.
In addition to our home delivered meal program, whatever a senior needs, we try to obtain that for them. So during a heat wave like this, it may be box fans or some help in that regard.
The agency's building on 15th Street also functions as a cooling center. This is possible through the support of the community.
Many businesses that support us, that know the need of our older adults. We actually had some pre-orders from some local businesses. We have already sent out 45 to 50 pizzas before Gusano's even opened this morning.
You know, that's what we're all about, and that's why we're all here together. We came out to support Area on Agency, and we love being able to support our local Meals on Wheels. There we go.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
This was the first year that Slices for Senior was held at Gusano's, and what a great cause that is.
Absolutely, helping out those senior citizens that need things, and of course with the heat, getting them some box fans, because I mean, even with the AC, it's still hot, and I know in some cases some AC units not able to really keep up, and you don't want your electric bill to be $400, $500, $600 out there. So we still have the excessive heat warnings, and unfortunately they've been extended for Kansas and Missouri until Friday at 10 p.m. They were originally set to expire tomorrow at 10, but Friday looking to be just as hot. And again, as we've mentioned this week, Tulsa's still playing it 2 days at a time. So the excessive heat warnings in Northeast Oklahoma will technically expire at 8 this evening. They'll go back into effect tomorrow morning and run until 8 tomorrow evening. And then they'll make the assessment as to whether or not they need to be continued. We want to remind you, of course, if you don't have to be outdoors, simply do not. But if you've got to work outdoors, whatever the case may be that forces you to be out there, you got to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit those strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, check in on the elderly and your pets. Don't leave them outside too long. And same with kids. We mentioned yesterday, you know, Joplin schools, no elementary outdoor recess for the rest of the week. And I imagine, again, other districts taking similar precautions because heat index values of 110 to 120 today. Police says here, heat exhaustion likely, heat stroke possible, and of course, for those more susceptible populations, heat stroke becomes highly likely. This is very dangerous heat out there. As we mentioned, there is relief on the way. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast and how cool it's going to get here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, a man is facing charges after a missing and endangered child from Indiana was found in Commerce, Oklahoma. Authorities say Jonathan Juarez was arrested on charges of first-degree rape, possession of child pornography, and harboring a juvenile runaway. Juarez was booked into the Ottawa County Jail. According to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, a federal hold has been placed on Juarez pending additional charges. A 70-year-old guard is safe after inmates took him hostage in a St. Louis jail. They took him at 6 yesterday morning, but freed the guard hours later after a SWAT team intervened. The guard suffered minor injuries and was treated at a hospital. Authorities say less than lethal ammunition was used on the inmates, but did not elaborate. The abduction was the latest of several acts of violence inside the jail, known as the City Justice Center, which holds nearly 700 inmates. Advocates for inmates have long complained about conditions at this jail. A newly released video of a police raid on the home of a 98-year-old Kansas woman shows the woman confronting officers.
Don't you touch any of that stuff.
Ma'am.
This is my house.
It was posted on the Marion County Record newspaper's website. Joan Meyer co-owned the newspaper with her son Eric Meyer. They also shared the home, but he was not home during the police raid. Joan Meyer died the next day. Her son believes stress from the raid contributed to her death. The security video shows at least 6 law enforcement officials conducting the nearly 2-hour search on August 11th. The prosecutor said later that there was insufficient evidence of a crime to justify the raids at the home and at the newspaper's office. Authorities from an Oklahoma County searched the former home of the BTK serial killer in Park City, Kansas Tuesday. An Osage County undersheriff said they were following leads on missing people that may be related to the killer by digging up areas at the home. Dennis Rader terrorized the people of Wichita from 1974 to 1991. He gave himself the nickname BTK, which stands for Bind, Torture, and Kill. He was convicted in 2015 for the murders of 10 people. And we now know the identity of the victim in a weekend Joplin shooting. The shooting happened around 1:30 Sunday morning in the 500 block of Joplin Avenue. Authorities have identified the victim as 21-year-old Keeza Clark of Joplin. They say he's in stable condition. JPD is asking anyone with information to come forward. The Lavac County Sheriff's Office is investigating the suspicious death of a Parsons Police canine. Parsons police officials say the canine named Kareem was put in his kennel Monday after working a 12-hour shift and was tended to as normal. His handler then went to sleep, and when he woke up, he found Kareem unresponsive. Kareem was a 4-year-old Belgian Malinois that's been with the department since 2021 as part of their narcotics department. His body was sent to the Kansas State University School of Veterinary Medicine for an autopsy. Joplin students are back to school, but they might be arriving for classes a little bit late. That's because the district was not able to fill all the positions for bus drivers, and some routes are being affected. The district doesn't have a specific number of full-time positions to be filled, but encourages anyone interested in applying to join the 54 current bus drivers. Some parents report waiting for students for more than an hour in the hot temperatures. Officials say 2 routes are being delayed, but others are also dealing with issues.
We try to have when we know that a route's going to be delayed or there's going to be a hold on students, we try to put that information out really quick through the school, through Parent Square, which is a new program that we have this year in the district. And so parents can get automatic alerts that says their bus is going to be late through that Parent Square app.
Parents are being warned about the delays through text messages. District officials expect the situation to improve in the upcoming weeks. And if you'd like to apply, you can find more information on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Coming up, it's almost time for Little Balkans Days. Angela Meyer joins us to tell us all about it.
And we'll have how a new report highlights the state of maternity care in the U.S. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. But first, got ourselves another live look at that new mural in Fort Scott.
In Health Watch this morning, you've probably heard that taking aspirin regularly can help prevent a second heart attack, but a new study suggests that less than half of stroke and heart attack patients are heeding that advice. Researchers looked at more than 124,000 older adults from 51 countries over a 7-year period. Of those, more than 10,000 of them reported having cardiovascular disease. According to their findings published Tuesday in the medical journal JAMA, only about 40% of those studied reported taking aspirin for secondary prevention. The results varied among economic backgrounds. And the CDC has issued a damning report on the state of maternity care in the U.S. According to the study, 1 in 5 women reported mistreatment while receiving maternity care. Nearly 10% said healthcare providers ignored them, refused to help, or took too long to help. About 1 in 15 said doctors, nurses, or midwives shouted at them, with 4% saying they were threatened. Also, 1 in 10 women said they experienced discrimination based on age or weight. 1 in 8 black mothers said they were discriminated against because of their race. And researchers say that could help explain why black women were more than 2 times more likely than average to die from pregnancy or childbirth in 2021. People who have negative experiences with the healthcare system are less likely to seek treatment. Another case of locally acquired malaria has been reported in the U.S. Health officials in Maryland reported that a person who tested positive for the disease was briefly hospitalized and is now recovering at home. 8 other cases of malaria have been reported this summer in Florida and Texas. And Mandy Gaither has more on the disease and why health officials say the health threat in the U.S. is low.
For the first time in 20 years, cases of malaria acquired in the U.S. have been reported this summer in Florida, Texas, and now Maryland, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The new Maryland case involves a different parasite, which can cause more severe illness than the strain that caused the other recent cases.
The risk remains very low for not just individuals in Florida, Sarasota County, but throughout the entire United States. The risk is very low.
That's what the CDC had to say in July, and the risk is still extremely low, according to the agency's website. Maryland health officials say the state hasn't seen a case of malaria that wasn't related to travel in more than 40 years. But since the disease is spread by mosquitoes, state health officials are encouraging people to use insect repellent containing DEET, to wear loose-fitted, long-sleeve shirts and pants outdoors, and use screens on windows and doors. Symptoms usually appear 10 days to 1 month after the person was infected, but can take up to a year to develop. Those symptoms include fever and flu-like illness, chills, headache, muscle aches, and fatigue.
The CDC says that before the COVID-19 pandemic, about 2,000 cases of malaria were diagnosed every year in the U.S. Most were related to travel. So people who are traveling to areas where malaria is common can also take medication to help lower their chances of catching the disease.
We've been talking about that dangerous heat. Excessive heat warnings continue for Kansas, Missouri through 10 o'clock Friday night and through 8 o'clock tomorrow evening for northeastern Oklahoma, as we'll see heat index values again today, 110 to 120. Let's take a look outside. So we've got the clear skies right now, but clouds expected to increase over the next 2 or 3 hours. We're sitting at 80 in Joplin, feels like 85. Dew point, humidity, both up there. As we look at temperatures around the region, this is what we've got. 76 Iola, 77 Fort Scott, 78 Yates Center, Chanute, Pittsburgh, Chetopa, 79 Miami, Neosho, Carthage, and 76 in Lamar. And then we factor in those dew points, which are for the most part in the mid to upper 70s across the area, and that puts us in that soupy to miserable range right now, and that gives us some heat index values out there. Feels like 81 in Pittsburgh, 85 in Anderson, 83 in Neosho, feels like 80 in Columbus. So, and those will continue to rise as the morning goes on. We'll have mostly cloudy skies. Again, clouds expected to increase over the next couple of hours, and we're going to go into the upper 80s, near 90 by late morning. So the cloud cover, all it does is block a little bit of the sun. The heat, it makes our temperatures about a degree or two cooler than where they have been. Highs today, again, upper 90s. We'll see more upper 90s and fewer lower 100s out there. But again, the clouds not making a significant impact on our temperatures heading into the afternoon or into the evening for that matter, as we stay hot and keep those high heat index values with us. Overnight tonight, we're looking upper 70s, low 80s heat index values like they have been, pushing near 90 even into the overnight hours. Triple digits continue through Friday, and so again, so do some of those excessive heat warnings, and then the relief finally gets here. We go into Saturday. That's still hot. I won't lie. Mid-90s, still hot. We get pop-up storm chances Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So not everybody's going to get rain, but we'll get a few showers and storms out there. And then on top of that, here's the great news. As our temperatures fall back mid to upper 80s as we head into next week, we will hold on to the mid to upper 80s, near 90 by Friday. So right about where we should be. In fact, in some cases, a little cooler than where we should be for this time of year. And I think after the past several days, there's nobody out there that's going to complain if we're a little below average heading into next week. And take a look at these lows as well. Instead of going back to 80 for lows, we're talking low to mid 60s out there. You can give your AC a break. You can open the windows again. We just have to get through the next 2 or 3 days, and then we'll finally get a break from this just absolutely oppressive heat across the area. Well, coming up, we're going to meet the composer of a beloved game and TV series known as The Last of Us. But first, we're going to take another live look from Fort Scott. As you see, they're still doing some finishing touches on that new mural in town. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in studio today, Angela Meyer, here to tell us all about the exciting things coming up. Little Balkans Days is coming up. We were just talking about this. Some incredible news for this year for Little Balkans Days.
We have had a record turnout. So we have our second annual cooking school, which is now full. We have a wait list. You won't get to do the hands-on portion, but if you want to sign up through Eventbrite for that, you can at least come sit and watch. Same thing with Pasta School. Our 11 o'clock train rides are sold out, so we have less than 60 9 o'clock Saturday morning train ride tickets left. So if you want those, get those ASAP. They're going fast. But we have plenty of passports, plenty of events, and you can see Ben Haggard, Merle Haggard's son and former lead guitarist, in concert at Memorial, and there's plenty of opportunities to see him as well.
A lot of exciting stuff. So I've gotten the family up to Little Balkans Days every year for the last several years. Fantastic family fun. And you mentioned some changes that you think have helped, increase these sales and get more people involved, because you're telling me that this was just kind of unprecedented for you all to sell out so fast.
It is. We're so happy. We have such a supportive community. As everybody knows, Little Balkans is all community sponsored, community driven because of area business support, and then everybody at home that comes out, those $5 passports are what pay it forward to next year all the time. So our brand new website was the work of a couple volunteers on our board that really stepped up. We've had a better social media presence, but this website really gets you everything you need to know. It's super user friendly. We have a great shopping cart. So if you're like me and you drink your coffee in the morning and get your passports or shop online, you can hop online. We have a local pickup option, and we also have some great passport sponsors where you can go after 5 o'clock on the weekends and get a passport, and so you're not missing out in the middle of a busy work day or running around with the kids trying to get everything done. You can go to the grocery store like Ron's, pick up your passports, and do your grocery shopping.
So it's made it a lot more convenient. So real quick, tell me about the passports. What do those include?
So we used to call them buttons, and they used to be big metal buttons, and we got user friendly and thought, you know what better way to size that, to put it in your wallet, put it in your pocket, put it in your purse. So we now have a $5 passport. Gets you into absolutely everything. So if you want to see Ben Haggard, you can show up on Saturday night at Memorial with your passport and sit upstairs in general admission, first come, first serve. Or you can purchase a $10 or $20 ticket online through Memorial and guarantee you have a spot on the floor with the best seats in the house. So we have options for people. If you go to at least 4 passport events, you can be entered into a drawing to a $500 cash prize or $100 in chamber bucks.
That's just incredible. So we're just about out of time, but real quick, when is this? What do people need to know?
August 28th through September the 3rd. The full schedule's on Facebook. Every individual event has its own Facebook event. All the details are on there. Or our website is littlebalkans.com. Full schedule on there as well. And always call us if you have questions.
All right, Angela, thanks so much for stopping by this morning. And of course, we'll have all this on our website as well, KOAMnewsnow.com. We will be back right after this. Gustavo Santaolalla is a highly acclaimed Argentine musician who has been recognized for his work in Latin rock, TV, and film. After winning back-to-back original score Oscars for 2006 Brokeback Mountain and 2007's Babel, he went on to create the music for the successful video game The Last of Us, as well as the record-breaking series adaptation.
His work on the show has earned him his second Emmy nomination, and we were able to talk with the composer about what it means to be recognized for his work and what else he will be celebrating this year. Here's Kristen Goodwin with the story.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Two-time Oscar-winning composer Gustavo Santaolalla has a lot to celebrate this year. His work on HBO's hit video game adaptation The Last of Us earned him an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Music Composition for a series original dramatic score.
For me, it's always very gratifying to see that my work has been recognized.
Having scored both the original video game and its 2020 sequel, Santa Olaya is aware of the connection fans have with the music.
The relationship that they have with the music is very, very strong and very, very heartfelt.
The post-apocalyptic drama TV series is heading into its second season with a total of 24 Emmy nominations. Santa Olaya says he's ready for the next chapter.
One of the things that I love about the series, which I hope it progresses too, is the fact that there were characters that we knew from the game that now we get to learn more about it.
In addition, the award-winning Argentine composer will be honored with the Latin Grammy's Lifetime Achievement Trustees Award in November.
This is for my life work, for what I've done, through my career, and what I have brought to the Latin culture.
Ahead of receiving the prestigious award, he will perform at Eric Clapton's 2023 Crossroads Festival in Los Angeles, September 24th.
It's going to be, Stephen Stills and Santana and Roger McGuinn and all these incredible, musicians that I grew up with, and that now I have the chance to share the stage with. It's like a dream come true.
That's the ticket. That's the ticket.
In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Very impressive.
Very impressive indeed. I think there's so little appreciation sometimes for soundtracks to a
they make
number
the
of
movies.
things.
Like,
yeah,
they really
without
do.
the music, the movie just isn't the same.
Emotion, you don't get the feeling of it.
Exactly.
And he did a great job on The Last of Us. That was a great show.
Phenomenal.
Scary, but good thriller. All right, well, coming up, yesterday was the first day for Diamond, Missouri, so we'll have how the first responders went out of their way to help remind the community to drive safe.
And we've got our alert days continuing through Friday with dangerous heat. Taking a look at that forecast coming up.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:31 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. There will soon be a new mural in Fort Scott honoring a special group of soldiers. Artist Kababi Bayhawk is in town painting a mural honoring the 1st Kansas Colored Infantry. The regiment served in the Union Army during the Civil War and was the first black regime organized in a northern state.
I knew the flag would go in the center, but as far as the other elements, especially thinking about what was going on now in today's climate, I wanted to have one other man holding the American flag just because of how many times black folks have fought for this country in order to feel like folks would treat us better, give us the respect, give us the rights we wanted.
The mural is on the north end of Main Street overlooking the fort. It's expected to be finished by Friday or Saturday. And the Area Agency on Aging is partnering with a local pizzeria to raise funds to support senior citizens in the community. The 3rd annual Slice for Seniors is taking place at Gusano's in Joplin. Until 7 yesterday, 20% of all sales went to the local Meals on Wheels program that provides free meals to senior citizens.
Many businesses that support us, that know the need of our older adults. We actually had some pre-orders from some local businesses. We have already sent out 45 to 50 pizzas before Gusano's even opened this morning.
This was the first year that Slices for Seniors has been held at Gusano's. And Diamond, Missouri kicked off their new school year with the help of some special guests. The Diamond Area Fire Protection District firefighters stationed themselves outside the school with fire trucks and emergency vehicles to remind drivers school is in session. It's also a reminder about the new law that went into effect this summer in Missouri, and that is that it's illegal to drive while holding a phone.
You're not supposed to have the phone in your hand and talking at all on it, or texting is my understanding of it. You've got to have it set down where you're not even got your hands on it.
The Diamond area firefighters will station themselves outside the school for the first 2 days of classes.
Oh, we've still got excessive heat warnings, dangerous heat out there, and that'll continue through at least Friday. And so as such, the excessive heat warnings Kansas and Missouri have been extended through 10 o'clock Friday night. And as we've mentioned, Tulsa's still playing it 2 days at a time. So these excessive heat warnings will expire at 8 this evening and then go back into effect tomorrow morning and run through 8 p.m. Thursday. But again, wouldn't be surprised if they're extended beyond that. The #1 heat safety tip, if you don't have to be outside this week, don't. But I know not everybody is able to stay indoors. And those that can't, you got to stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, check on the elderly and pets. And of course, heat index values today, 110 to 120 degrees, making heat exhaustion likely, heat stroke possible. And of course, for the more vulnerable populations, heat stroke becomes highly likely even at this level. The good news is we're going to cool down, and we're only a few days away from that. We'll have another full look at your forecast in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, the Freeman Health System yesterday prepared for the possibility of a crisis. They hosted a crisis management seminar. It was aimed at educating physicians, nurses, and EMS professionals about the proper response and management of scenarios like mass shootings, natural disasters, and chemical or radiologic exposures.
We look at the initial response, how we're responding, the medications we're using, but we go through the whole gamut of how we follow up with our staff to make sure they're supported after an incident. When you look at the Joplin tornado and what so much of our staff went through, it traumatized many for years to come.
The seminar also explored responding to a crisis in an alternative location if necessary. And the city of Joplin yesterday evening hosted a welcoming reception for police chief candidates. Sloan Rowland retired from the position on June 1st. Now, after a nationwide search for candidates, the city has narrowed down its list to 4 finalists: Richard Pearson, Philip Lukens, Jeffrey Lofton, and Brian Lewis. Yesterday's event was a change for the public to get to know them.
Particularly interested in hearing about visions and goals and ideas that they might have to help improve our police department. Want to know more about their experience in dealing with some of the tough issues that our police are involved with. Want to understand their administrative abilities and how they budget and plan for the future.
The reception was held in the City Council chambers at City Hall. And this massive pride flag will make its way through the streets of Joplin in a couple of weeks for Jomo Pride Fest. We had the opportunity to see it unveiled at our station. The flag is 104 feet long and was made by Joplin resident Linnea Hansa, who says it's the largest pride flag in the 4 states region.
As a community, a lot of hours of love and dedication went into this, and I hope they can see that as they watch it march down the street. It's a big achievement for any community.
The Jomo Pride Fest runs from September 8th through the 11th, with the parade taking place on the 8th. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up on this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Chris Hicks, the director of Mommy and Me, comes into studio to tell us all about the fall sessions of the Educational Playdate.
Plus, again, our alert days continue. Dangerous heat hanging on out there across the area. We'll have another look at your forecast a little later. But first, here's another live look from Fort Scott at that new mural being put in. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining me in studio today is Chris Hicks. She's here to tell us all about an educational play date that happens in Pittsburgh, and it is called Mornings with Mommy.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. So tell us, what is exactly Mornings with Mommy?
So Mornings with Mommy is an educational play date for children and their grown-ups. Grown-ups can be mom, dad, grandparents, caregivers. We start with a story time and music, and from there the children can lead their grown-up all around our different centers. And centers will focus on gross and fine motor skills.
I love this concept. And why did you come up with this to begin with?
Well, we noticed that while there's a lot for preschool age, there wasn't a whole lot for the younger kiddos. Mm-hmm. And it's a great way for the little ones to learn social skills, meet friends, and an added bonus are the moms, dads, the grown-ups are also meeting and forming new friendships.
And that's so important too.
Yes.
I know a lot of mothers feel like they're a little isolated, they're not as
they're all by themselves.
So to get them together with other like-minded people that have children the same age, and it sounds wonderful. Tell us about the activities that you guys offer.
So we offer arts and crafts. We have a sensory bin, which the kids love. They can get their hands in and get a little messy. We do gross motor. They may be hopping around or throwing balls. sorting different animals.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
can anyone come?
Anyone can come. We invite newborn to age 5. All sessions are completely free, and you can sign up online at our website, which is faithpittsburgh.com, or just come in and sign up.
It seems, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this schedule is packed for the entire fall season. You have both mornings and evenings. So, I mean, like, you have different themes of music, harvest time, what have you. So that is amazing. So if you can't make one week, it seems like you can always go to the next one.
Exactly. And we will be at Little Vulcan's Day. So we have a whole bunch of fun activities, free face painting. And we would love everyone to come out and we can meet you and see what we're all about.
I love that. Well, make sure you check out Mornings with Mommy. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy, and we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We have alert days now through Friday for the dangerous heat, and it is not going to let up until we get into the weekend. Let's take a look at what we've got. Right now, we've got these mostly clear skies. If you look carefully, you can kind of see some cloud cover out there. Clouds are going to begin to increase from the northwest across the area. No rain, and unfortunately the clouds only make our temperatures about a degree or two cooler than what they have been, so they don't do much for us except block the sun. 80 in Joplin right now under these mostly clear skies. 85 is what it feels like, but dew point, humidity both at uncomfortable levels. 78 in Chanute, 79 in Pittsburgh, Lamar, 80 in Carthage, Miami, 77 Iola, Fort Scott, 78 Nevada, Neosho, and 77 Monette and Anderson. Then we've got our dew points to contend with. For the most part, they are in the mid to upper 70s. We're back to the 80-degree dew points in Nevada and Stockton, and that again puts us in the soupy to miserable range. I might have to talk to Doug about adding a miserable range on this dew point tracker because this is just bad out there. Heat index values right now aren't terrible. I mean, the fact that we have them at 7:45 in the morning is not good, but they're not terrible yet. But we got 86 Columbus, 87 in Miami, 85 Lamar, 81 Chanute. So these will continue to rise, and we're looking at heat index values again today from 110 to 120 degrees out there. Mostly cloudy once we get those clouds in here this morning, near 90 by 11. Highs today, upper 90s, and still some lower 100s out there across the area. We're staying hot through the evening and warm overnight again, upper 70s, lower 80s under those mostly cloudy skies. Triple digits hang through until Friday, and then this is what I wanted to show you. Still hot Saturday, mid-90s, and then pop-up storm chances Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then our temperatures as we go into the next work week, mid to upper 80s. We don't make it back close to 90 until the end of next week. So relief on the way. We just have a few more days to get there. That's a quick check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
An unexpected in-flight announcement left passengers cheering on a recent United Airlines flight from the U.S. to Spain.
This is a case where the skies aren't just friendly, they're family friendly. Jeannie Moose has the story.
It's not unusual for a pilot to praise his exceptional crew, but this pilot singled out a certain flight attendant on board.
But also my exceptional mom.
On a flight from Washington to Madrid the other day, Cole Doss announced it was the first time in 2 years at United that he was flying the plane that his mom was working.
She's been one of my biggest supporters of my career in becoming a pilot ever since my very first flight lesson.
Together on United Flight 260, reunited.
And it feels so good.
Cole's mom has been a flight attendant at United for over 45 years. Mom and dad have worked in aviation. His sister Carolyn is the latest to become a flight attendant. The passengers cheer.
I'm not done. I'm especially honored and excited to be able to fly her for the first time today.
Some online commenters were touched. At least one parent noted, "LOL, I won't get in a car if one of my kids is driving." Okay, maybe instead of reading, he should have tried winging it, but still.
To my mom, I love you, and to everyone on board, welcome aboard our family-friendly skies.
We both are so excited 'cause we're reunited.
think it's appropriate they were on a United Airlines flight.
Oh, United and family.
Absolutely.
That was the sweetest story. I absolutely love that.
It certainly was. And temperatures probably much cooler at 30 or 40,000 feet because down here we are holding on to those excessive heat warnings. Again, Missouri and Kansas extended through Friday at 10 p.m. Tulsa, again, playing it 2 days at a time, so they'll expire at 8 this evening and then come back tomorrow morning and run through 8 tomorrow evening as well, and they'll probably be extended through at least Friday also. So again, if you don't have to be outside, don't, but for those of you who can't avoid it, stay hydrated, take frequent breaks, limit strenuous outdoor activities, wear lightweight, light-colored clothing, check on the elderly and pets because heat index values today, once again, in that 110 to 120 degree range out there, so quite uncomfortable to say the least. Quick look at temperatures, 80 in Joplin, 85 is what it feels like. You can see some clouds out there. Clouds will continue to increase as we go through the morning, and temperatures already warming up. 77 Fort Scott, Iola, 79 Chitopa, 80 Miami and Carthage, and 78 in Neosho. And as mentioned, clouds, let's get ahead. Yeah, we know it's hot. Clouds increase. We're going to go near 90 by late morning. We have relief on the way. We'll take a look at that and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. We now know the identity of the victim in the weekend Joplin shooting. The shooting happened around 1:30 Sunday morning in the 500 block of Joplin Avenue. Authorities have identified the victim as 21-year-old Keeza Clark of Joplin. They say he's in stable condition. JPD is asking anyone with information to come forward. The Lafayette County Sheriff's Office is investigating the suspicious death of a Parsons police canine. Parsons police officials say the canine named Kareem was put into his kennel Monday after working a 12-hour shift and was tended to as normal. His handler then went to sleep, and when he woke up, he found Kareem unresponsive. Kareem was a 4-year-old Belgian Malinois that's been with the department since 2021 as part of the narcotics department. His body was sent to the Kansas State University School of Veterinary Medicine for an autopsy. A man is facing charges after a missing and endangered child from Indiana was found in Commerce, Oklahoma. Authorities say Jonathan Juarez was arrested on charges of first-degree rape, possession of child pornography, and harboring a juvenile runaway. Juarez was booked into the Ottawa County Jail. According to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, a federal hold has been placed on Juarez pending additional charges. A 70-year-old guard is safe after inmates took him hostage in St. Louis jail. They took him at 6 yesterday morning, but freed the guard hours later after a SWAT team intervened. The guard suffered minor injuries and was treated at a hospital. Authorities say less than lethal ammunition was used on the inmates, but did not elaborate. The abduction was the latest of several acts of violence inside the jail known as the City Justice Center, which holds nearly 700 inmates. Advocates for inmates have long complained about conditions at this jail.
We still have our alert days through Friday, excessive heat warnings through Friday, heat index values today 110 to 120, highs upper 90s and still a few lower 100s despite the mostly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy, hot through the evening, and mostly cloudy overnight and still warm, upper 70s, low 80s. We hold on to the triple digits through Friday, and then this weekend, still hot Saturday, mid-90s, pop-up storms Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then as you see, the temperatures fall back mid to upper 80s to kick off the next week.
And today is the day we celebrate a sandwich that originated in Cuba but grew up in Florida.
August 23rd is National Cuban Sandwich Day. We pay tribute to the invention of a toasted pressed sandwich stuffed with pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and yellow mustard. As the name suggests, this classic hot sandwich came from Cuba, but it grew up in South Florida as Cuban immigrants introduced it to the U.S.
And if you've never had a Cuban sandwich, Wednesday is the perfect time to try one, and you may get a deal. A lot of restaurants offer Cuban sandwich specials to observe the big day.
So make sure you get out there. A lot of good sandwich shops in the area, so
yes.
Check them out, see if they've got a good Cuban ready for you.
Absolutely.
Or just stay indoors and have it delivered, or, maybe wait until it's cooler, too. You might want to celebrate next week. Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.